Welcome back to the TrueCast, everyone. Today I bring you another scary story. Well, that's the plan anyway, but we all know I end up talking about a bunch of other stuff too, usually. Like new memes, well, I don't know if they're that new. I mean, they've been going around for a week or two, but you know, Chicken Jackie, or Flint and Steel, or I and Steve. Is that how he says? I actually kind of forgot. I think I'm spot on, sort of. I mean, if anything, it seems there's some cool memes. I actually kind of like these memes. I think I'm okay with them. I don't know if the movie is good or not. I can't imagine the plot being that good. But then again, I also seen some, some clips about it. People say that there's a lot of cool Easter eggs for fans of Minecraft. Like, for example, a pig wearing a crown, which is a reference to Technoblade, which I never even followed the guy back then. I never really was into Minecraft YouTubers much, but a lot of people loved him, and I know he passed away. And I mean, when it's a character that doesn't really get into controversies and people miss them a lot and people like them a lot, obviously, I'm gonna be like, that's good. But obviously, it happened. What happened. He's not here with us anymore. That's sad, and I'm sorry for you guys. For anyone that watched his videos. I kind of never did. Again, I wasn't really into that Minecraft SMP era of sorts. But yeah, he seemed like a cool guy, so I'm happy he got the reference in the movie. Sad that he doesn't get to see it. Or maybe that's good that he doesn't get to see it. Again, I don't know how bad the movie is. I'm assuming the plot can't be that good. But I will admit, I've been feeling a bit more curious to watch it. I just don't know if I want to spend the money on it. Especially because I would have to go by myself. I don't think my girlfriend is ever agreeing to watching that, spending money on it. But yeah, I guess at the very least, I am enjoying the memes with you guys. And, I mean, as long as you've seen Jack Black, then you can laugh at the memes. The only real background you need for the memes is Jack Black, I guess. He says things in a funny way. And that's why he's basically cast into everything. Which, I don't know, I'm a bit annoyed if I have to be honest. I like Jack Black. I think he's funny, I think he's cool. I think he can be a bit cringy sometimes, but, if anyone's allowed to be cringy, that's definitely him. Because at least he's funnier than other cringy people. And he's not as cringy, anyway. But I do think he gets cast way too much, I think. But please don't crucify me over this. I'm not saying I hate him. I think he's cool. I watched the Super Mario movie when it came out years ago, and I thought Jack Black as Bowser was amazing, and I thought he kinda carried the movie as well. Not that the movie was bad, but it was definitely a lot better with him in it. In any case, I'm getting distracted as usual. That's me. Well, like I mentioned before, I wanted to bring you a scary story today. I don't know if any of you have seen the episode from a few weeks ago, Forbidden Creepy Story, I think that's how I called it. Well, the creepypasta episode, where I talked about creepypastas and Pokemon Lost Silver. Creepypasta that, scared me a lot back when I was a kid. So, for today, I was thinking we could read Pokemon Strangled Red, which, this one, I've never read. I have no idea what's it gonna be like. I just remember that, literally the first time I've ever seen it was during that video, during that podcast I made weeks ago. I was reading Lost Silver, and then I found it, and I was like, oh look, there's Pokemon Strangle Red? I don't know, it's new, never seen it, maybe it's better. Maybe it's not. We'll see. I'm gonna read that. And before I start, I also kind of want to do something a bit different. Because last time, I remember I was giving a few notes on the thing, I was commenting on it, but I was feeling like I was talking too much and not reading enough. But then when I re-listened to the episode, and with some feedback from a friend of mine as well, I felt like I wasn't commenting enough actually. Because I was just reading it, but then you guys can, might as well read it yourselves, right? What's the point? If I read it, I gotta give you some reaction to it. And that's kind of what my friend as well, I have a friend that follows the podcast very closely. He did that up until then. I hope he still follows it. But what he said was that he likes my stories, he likes my bits, but he found the reading a bit boring. And like I said, probably because I didn't comment much on it. And with me being the host, I'm assuming I'm the main reason you guys are here anyway. So might as well give you more commentary, more reactions, and more notes if there's anything, that I feel like I could explain better. So, without wasting any other time, let's read Pokemon Strangled Red, which I'm reading here from the creepypasta wiki in the section Pokemon and memes. So that's, I don't know if it's gonna be weird or funny or whatever since I'm reading memes, but let's get started. Strangled Red. There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. Some of them really quite neat, such as the one about a version where you get a ghost as a starter. I believe that's Pokemon Black. Some are ridiculous. Silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them. God, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories? Ah well, I digress. I grew interested in these hacked games that are apparently in any thrift store, on eBay, or handed out by homeless people to random passersby. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbor's dumpster. I noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it, and he didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all. I, of course, checked with my neighbor to confirm if they actually didn't want it, though they seemed perplexed, as if they'd never seen it in their life. Their son made a grab for it, a little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon, I want mommy!" But his mother told him no, seeing as I found it. He didn't even have a Game Boy anyway, he just liked Pokemon. Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge sticker on the way. Just a plain old red version, the sticker torn slightly across the Charizard's neck. But that was expected with such an old game. I had blue version as a kid, so I was a bit eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red version had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red version. And before we continue, and that's gonna be common knowledge to most of you guys, but yeah, Pokemon used to release, it still releases in different versions, and there's usually minimal differences. Even the dialogue usually it's just the same. The only real difference is 4 or 5 Pokemons will be version exclusive. Like you will only find them in the wild in that version, and the legendary Pokemon you get at the end of the game changes. Throughout the game. But for Pokemon Blue and Red, not even that. Not even the legendaries are different. But if you take, for example, Diamond and Pearl, in Diamond you get Dialga, and in Pearl you get Palkia, then in Platinum you get Giratina. But yeah, now you know more. Now let's keep going. Well, damn it was a hack. Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The original's quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway, not this crap. Oh well, it was free, might as well try it. The name was odd however, Strangled Red. That made no sense. Not even a morbid description of someone being asphyxiated. As people turn blue when choking, not red. Who knows, maybe there was a pair of these acts and I just got the red one. The more I thought about this though, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to note everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed was the start screen had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, the Pokemon never cycled through like the original version did. It just stayed Charizard, even after 5 minutes of waiting. Shrugging, I hit start, noticing there's no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was a continue option, so I figured I'd do what everyone did with used games and see what previous owners had done. And by the way guys, yes, this is such a cool thing. Every time I will buy even a Nintendo DS game, I always check the saves. Sure, I wanna play it myself, I wanna make my own save file, but you find some, some old person's like imprinting of their past in there. It's like an old diary of sorts. So it's just curiosity. You want to see what was there. Sometimes there's nothing. I've had a Super Mario 64 game, Super Mario 64 DS game, got it, and the guy only got like 10 stars or something. So there was literally nothing to see there. But Pokemon usually, I think you might find a little more. In any case, let's continue. Figured I'd do what everyone did with this game, see what the previous owner had done. No. I blinked in surprise. No? What do you mean no? The game wouldn't let me continue no matter what. Though, on the fourth attempt, I heard the Charizard cry, quiet and barely audible, but there, shrugging it off, I decided to just hit new game, like I would have done after checking the hold file anyway. The screen cut black for a while, no Professor Oak, no starting theme, just nothing at all. Eventually, the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the corner. My trainer sprite was the usual one, consistent with the original red version. I was curious as to why it didn't ask my name, though that was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing my trainer was named Steven. Now this isn't my real name or some stupid crap like that. This game isn't self-aware or haunted, at least not that I know of. I just had a name chosen already. Curious, I saw he had the starter amount of money, no badges. It didn't look like red though. His hair was longer, almost reaching halfway down his back. Red's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I found this sprite much cooler than Red. Although Red is pretty cool, I think. Next I checked out his Pokemon, sorry guys. A single Charmander, level 5, named Mickey. Nothing was odd about it, or should I say hair, the name and all. She had beginning Charmander stats, only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal. Returning to the game, I walked about the room, noticing Steven's long hair was present on the back of my trainer sprite when my back was turned to the camera. I didn't recognize the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer, who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike. Ready yet? Steven. Yeah. I assumed this Mike was my rival. Pre-decided for me, a replacement of Blue most likely. Though I thought back to the bedroom having 2 beds, realizing they weren't just rivals, they were brother. Sorry. They talked back and forth. Basic Pokemon dialogue. Became a Pokemon master, catch 'em all, stuff like that. Before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle. Which of course led to the introduction battle, like the one versus Blue in the lab. Simple enough, scratch, tackle, till I won purely for having the first turn. I took note of how much better Steven's profile looked in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief minor upgrade, but still much nicer. I left the house after some more banter with my quote-unquote brother, stepping out of the Pallet Town team. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts to the west. I noticed there was no mysterious aggressive feel like normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. His mother was inside, and when I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Steven looked, hoping her son would look up to him as a role model for when he became a trainer himself next year. Which of course led me to realize this game took place a year before the original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs playing the SNES in his room, commenting, "I'm gonna be the best when it's my turn." So that's interesting. And this is interesting. So we're having some actual lore, I guess, in this hack ROM, let's say. So it's in the past. We are actually not Red at all, because we're not a replacement for Red. We're literally a new person that goes out into their own adventure a year before. And it's interesting that we just have the house to the west. So it's a bigger Pallet Town. So far, it looks like a regular hack ROM. I've seen many hack ROMs. I have a friend who plays hack ROMs all the time. And I've seen many where it's just a tiny difference, like you play the same base game, but the story being told is a bit different. Maybe the dialogues are better, or there's quality of lives, upgrades, and many other hack ROMs where maybe they do a whole new map and region, but it's still the same Pokemon. So until now, it doesn't really seem like anything that weird, to be honest. So let's keep going. I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting, a completely new adventure, a different character. Hell, Steven even seemed to have a history with the people in his town, a reputation, a personality behind the silent protagonist. The people in town talked to him as a person, making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue's sister had a new dialogue. They seemed to be in a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head. Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokédex to aid my adventure. He wasn't giving it to me to be the reason behind the adventure like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way, a gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. I was somebody. Not just a cookie-cutter protagonist, anyone could be. Not just a cookie-cutter protagonist, anyone could be. Not some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. Sorry guys. The story was different though. Though the actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to, went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders. Steven's fame even seemed to spread, as some NPCs would talk like they knew him. I used Mickey for every battle, and she was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even pounded me Steven notable at all. She wasn't as adversely affected by super effective attacks as others. Did more damage than a regular Charmander. She was a veritable powerhouse. She even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say. So it just seems like the game is just easier. Things started to get weird though as soon as I reached Lavender Town. Oh, here it comes. I know, the guy's saying it as well. Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepy story and the like, but it was the only place that was noticeably different. There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd. Though I did remember this was a year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter the Pokemon Tower, aiming to get a Ghastly, but that's when it went odd. You were meant to write went, not go. Sorry guys. Sorry. It's not my fault this time, it's his fault. It's whatever. Let's keep going. Steven, I have no reason to be here. Steven wouldn't go in the Pokemon Tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto you really no need to be. Little random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example. Why was it here that Steven wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Mickey could handle anything. So I simply went on my way. Lavender Town serving no purpose other than a passageway with a Poké Center. The game progressed normally from there, the remaining gyms fell, and eventually I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. Okay, stop the story for a moment. Here's something that the story is not commenting on. So, if there was no Team Rocket, because the invasion didn't start yet, because that was a year after, doesn't that mess up the whole progression of Pokemon Blue? Like, because I remember, and I haven't played the first generation that much, so maybe I'm getting it wrong, but I remember in the first generation games, after you defeat Misty, I don't remember the name of the town, but she's like the second leader, yes. After that, you start seeing Team Rocket everywhere and they block your way, and that changes sort of the way you do gyms. Because I think, you know, you have to take a tunnel and you go through a cave and another tunnel and another cave, and like you go all around the region, sort of skipping towns, going to the other town later when the Team Rocket is out, or because you have to go through another way. Like, if I remember right, the town south of Misty's town, so the town in the middle of the region of sorts, that town is like the 6th, 7th maybe, I don't remember, but that's much later on. But if there's no Team Rocket, then that town will have the 3rd gym leader. Like, why would you go fight Lieutenant Surge as a 3rd if there's no Team Rocket blocking you? But maybe I remember wrong, maybe, but I don't think I remember wrong. I think literally this will alter the whole progression, and this guy kinda, you know, skipped it, which I guess is not a big deal, but like I said, I'm giving you commentary, and I'm adding these notes, so now you know how the original games work instead, I guess. So, I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. As with Blue, my brother, Mike, was there before me, initiating the championship battle, which Mickey swept with ease. The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue at the end of their match. The brothers congratulated each other on their progress and shook hands. Before the screen went white, no Hall of Fame, nor any credits. When the screen came back, it was at the house again. The two brothers were sitting at the computer, conversing with each other. Steven says, "I don't want to." Then Mike, "Come on, I just gotta borrow her for a second to finish the Pokédex. The entry won't register unless she recognizes me as master for just a second." "But she's my Mickey." "I promise I'll give her back. Come on, please." "Yes or no?" I was a bit perplexed, so I hit the no to be cautious. "Come on, please." "No." "Come on, please." I realized this was simply to continue the loop until I hit yes. So I did, just to see what would happen. Alright, this will just take a second. Then we'll both be Pokemasters. Steven goes ... The screen changed to the animation shown when the two people trade Pokemon. She found a bit weird seeing as I was solo, but whatever. This was what was apparently supposed to happen. Maybe you could have worded it a bit different there. I don't know. Mickey went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. Snap! That made me jump. The sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom. Loud due to the volume being way up. Looking at the screen, I noticed the game had seemed to freeze. Mickey's still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I just turned off the game, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared for a moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange, to say the least, so I selected it. The game starting... What? The game starting? Without even showing my stats as usual? I think he meant starting. That's just a simple typo. My jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later. The Lavender Town theme came first, playing its normal way. a screen slowly fading in from blackness. Steven was in a Pokemon tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the tower had its own theme. He was standing in front of a tombstone, not doing anything, wondering what was going on. I pressed A. Guys, we all know 100% the Charizard died somehow and now it's buried. I mean, the Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town is a cemetery for Pokemon anyway, so it's 100% what happened. I wonder how it happened. In any case, let's keep going. Steven goes ... Confused, I tried walking, realizing I was indeed in control at the moment. I'd brought up the pause menu and checked my party. Mickey was gone. Not just Mickey, all Pokemon. He had nothing. The Pokédex was absent from the menu. His bag was empty. Honestly concerned now. I checked his trainer card. He had no money, he had no badges, he had no bitches. Don't worry guys, he didn't say this. That's just me being funny. His playtime was 8,795 hours, which was impossible as I had only 30 logged in before. Is this how many hours in a year? Or am I wrong? I don't know. But that wasn't the strangest part. His picture, the picture of the handsome, confident young trainer was different. His eyes were blank, his face turned slightly down. The smirk of his was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. That long hair of his, before in a perfect perm, was now messy and unkempt. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower, but with every step I took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered, like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Gulping, I brought up the trainer card again. His picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped, he bent over. By the time I had exited the tower, he was on his knees, hands to his face, hair draped across him. I had guessed already what was going on, but this clinched it? I never heard this word. I began to put some things together in my mind. I had always wondered why there was no champion in the original games beside your rival. Why is it you, the protagonist, had to beat your rival when he just waltzed in, no previous champion to challenge? Then it struck me, the answer was right there. The previous champion gave up. His precious Mickey was apparently dead, and with her, so died part of him. His Pokédex, the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it. He threw it away. In that year, the year that I missed, the year where all those hours came from, I even did the math. There is 765 hours in a year. Add that to my 30 from before and it matched up. See, I thought so. It looked like an oddly specific number. Even so, the game kept going. This should have been an ending, I thought. I mean, what else was there to do? I had no Pokédex, no Pokemon, not anything. What was I supposed to be doing? I talked to everyone in the town, but they all said similar things. Are you okay? Still mourning, I see. Everything will be alright. Please, is there anything we can do? Steven never replied to them, and they all simply said the same things over and over. I couldn't put the game down now, this was all so strange. Curious, I headed off into the tall grass, and eventually got into a battle with a Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Steven's sprite. I was wondering how I'd battle. Wild Rattata left to be. The battle ended without anything happening. This was certainly interesting, and it happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you, Wild Ponyta wandered off. The music never changed either. No matter where I went, Lavender Town came from the speakers, following me. Sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. Frustration was mixing with the depressing atmosphere of all of this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable, but I couldn't tear myself away. I was starting to get a bit angry though. Nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee, each met with No, said by Steven. I slapped myself for idiocy, suddenly realizing how the likely answer was right in front of me. Pallet Town, of course. When I went there though, which took a long time, having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Steven only seemed to move half the regular movement speed. It wasn't much different. I first tried talking to Professor Oak. These things happen, you were just unlucky. Next I tried Blue's sister. Please, don't leave me home again. Red's mom wouldn't even talk to me at all. Nowhere else in mind to go. I walked to the west, finding the house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Inside was Mike, but talking to him was just useless. I'm so sorry, said my Mike. I pondered for a moment if this really was the ending. Steven doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories, forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. So last ditch effort to do anything. I went to the bedroom and walked over the bed. Steven says, I'm going to sleep. The screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in, the world having a black tint to it. The Mike sprite laying in the other bed. I assume this meant it was night. Steven says, I'm going to do it. Do what? Again, I had no idea. I tried inspecting everything in the room, nothing happened. As soon as I left the house, another dialogue. It can bring her back. It can do anything. What in the hell was it? Something that could do anything. I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. Wondering about, I tried to leave Pallet Town the usual way. Steven says, not that way. He wouldn't go any further. I tried the homes. Screw them. I quirked my eyebrow at that, forgetting for a moment this was not a real Pokemon game. The vulgarity just took me off guard. Continued to look around. There was nowhere I could go. Until I accidentally stepped on the ocean. And Steven walked right in. Only the upper half of his sprite visible, like the swimmers you encounter in the Cerulean gym. I didn't know he could swim. The missing one. Missing one? I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean that. I hadn't tried the missing no trick on this hack yet, but it just fit too well. That had to be what he meant. I surfed all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to feel something was off. More so than it was already. Silence. The Lavender Town team had stopped. There was no noise at all. Nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down the East Coast. So, if you don't know, yeah, there is this glitch where you can find missing no, like in this bit. It's literally where in this island where the ground meets the water, there's like a tile that looks like the coast basically, and you can swim on those tiles. You can swim on the coast tiles. For whatever reason, now my missing no knowledge is a bit, old. I need to brush it off, to renew it, to remember things properly. But for some reason, that strip of land, you can find missing no. Of course, I'm pretty sure there's other requirements. You need to do another bunch of other things. But this is a hack ROM, so it makes sense that maybe some settings are different and it allows you to find missing no much easier. Not to mention, he's without Pokemon. If there's any condition, that's the best one to find missing no, is not having Pokemon. In many Pokemon games, literally weird things happen because it's out of the code. If you go into a battle with no Pokemon, you will throw out a Pokeball containing a missing no. That's normal. That's the game trying to handling you not having a Pokemon. What are you gonna, bring into the battle? The placeholder, basically. So there's this thing about missing no appearing in weird ways, because it's a glitch Pokemon. And yeah, in many games, when you don't have Pokemons, you find missing note. Now, I don't remember if in Pokemon Blue and Red you throw a missing note when you don't have Pokemon. I'm assuming you do as well. But this is also a hack ROM, so different rules, it works differently. Like you heard from the story, he will meet Pokemons that will just run away. So, yeah, but this is cool. I like that we're introducing missing note this way. Feels meta and it feels very nice and it doesn't feel like a crazy cursed thing. It just feels like a cool hack ROM. So I'm liking it. But let's go forward. Lo and behold, wild missing note appeared. Mine. This was said by Steven, by the way. I don't know what voice to give it. I'm assuming like mine. Like that. Yeah, that's probably good. Wild missing note was caught. What the hell? Steven didn't do anything. He just commanded that atrocity of broken data to join him. No, become his possession. And it did. I was getting more and more disturbed by this all. Checking the start menu, I saw missing note was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. I checked the trainer card as well. Steven has his back to me, his long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pocket, nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realized what I had to do. I surfed to land and made my way northeast. Where else? Lavender Town. Along the way I noticed all the trainers oddly still out at this hour. Wouldn't look at Steven. All of them turning when he passed. Even those that were normally static. I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse type buildings. Just go. They all said the same thing, though one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes that is best. My hands were sending chills down my spine too. My hands were sweating by this point. Steven was about to try the impossible, something some will see as a crime against nature, which many of these people share that opinion. I stilled myself. It's just a game, and I was going to complete it. It took an eternity to reach Pokemon Tower, but I got there eventually. Taking a deep breath and heading toward the tombstone. I remembered which one. The image of Steven standing before it was burned to my mind after all. First I tried inspecting it. Mickey. Nothing happened. With a gulp, I opened the menu and selected Missing Note from the bag. So this is interesting. He's literally using Missing Note as an item just to revive the Pokemon, I'm assuming. This is an interesting take on Missing Note. Let's keep going. Oh yeah. Because when you do something you're not supposed to, like riding a bike inside a building, then you'll get Professor Oak saying something like, now is not the right time to use that. So here we have Oak saying, Steven, don't use it. I was reminded of when Professor Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere. Yeah, like I just said. Like when using a bicycle in a building. Though the message this time was different. Even worse, Steven responded to it. In a world that cheated me. Why should I play fair? Steven used it. Steven used it. What? What do you mean? Okay, I guess it's just a text message. Sorry guys. Steven used it. Steven obtained gibberish. At weird cross thingy. I don't know. $sign exclamation mark. What in God's name did I obtain? I couldn't tell you. Because the game took away my control. Without my input, Steven began to leave the tower on his own, walking single step by single step. The Lavender Town team started again as he left the tower and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will. Every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, more and more disturbing. But by the time he reached Cerulean City, it was a demonic rumbling. I just stared, watching him, trying to guess where he was going, but it was getting more and more obvious. He was heading to Pallet Town. The music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note. He went exactly where I had guessed, right to his own house, inside and up the stairs. At this point, there was no music. Steven moved step by step, stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first, I thought the game froze. He didn't do anything, simply stood there, and I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out I could open the pause menu. I was terrified to look, but I couldn't stop myself. I selected his trainer card. There was a low growl noise, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Steven was looking at me again, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild and feathered out. Between his bangs, there wasn't even a face at all, just black, two red eyes looking straight forward, a white green contrasting with the darkness. That wasn't all. His name was now S!3V3N, which sort of reads as Steven. Basically, guys, it's telling you that it's glitching out a lot, and this guy is starting to glitch out too. I couldn't look away, my eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. My vision was getting blurry until I couldn't see very well. My face grew wet, I was crying like a baby. There was nothing I could do to hold back the tears. I was this boy from the start. I built him up to greatness, and was then forced to watch his decline after a tragic accident. And now he was this thing, this abomination. I watched him go insane. Halting my tears, wiping my eyes, I closed out the trainer card and tried to save the game, wanting to just quit. The game informed me this was impossible. Nothing can be saved now. The pause menu wouldn't close no matter what I did. So with no other option, I checked the bag. Nothing happened. I checked Pokemon, and there was one. A single sprite met me. It had 0 HP, its status DED, dead, its name M at a weird thingy $sign. That's literally sort of like saying Mickey, but it's all yeah, it looks like it says Mickey, but it's all glitched out. I selected it, and I was greeted with 4 options. Status, it's her. Switch, never. Close, no. Strangle. My fingers shaking. I selected strangle, and the menu closed, showing Steven in the room again. Steven says, goodbye. Snap. The game shut itself off. I was more dumbfounded than frightened. In a bit of shock, I turned it back on, the title screen showing the manic S!3 Steven, but you know, it's glitched out, and a horribly glitched Charizard. I pressed start, then continue. All I saw was a zoomed out view of Pallet Town, showing Steven's Zone to the west, tall grass surrounding it, those unmovable stones blocking it from the rest of the town. The image was completely static. No music, no movement, before fading to white, going back to the title screen. It was as it had been when I first popped it in. A trainer and a Charizard. I attempted to hit continue. No. Just like the start. That's where the story ends. Okay. I like this. I liked this story a lot. I don't think it was particularly scary, but I did get goosebumps every now and then, so it also wasn't like cringe. I'm thinking about what to say about it, to be honest. I liked some part of the meta style of narration, like the fourth wall breaking. Some parts of it I liked. I mean, even then, I was gonna tell you guys that I didn't like that he referred it as, oh, it's one of those cursed games or whatever. But that's totally fair. I think actually that's fair. You know what? I even liked that part. I even liked that he, you know, knew about quote-unquote cursed game, creepypasta games. He knew about Pokemon Black. He knew possibly about Pokemon Lost Silver. He knew about these games. So that's kind of cool. I think it helps you get in the story in a different way. And when it started, I don't know what it was about the descriptions, like about him finding the game out of the trash truck, you know, going backwards and hitting the bin, and he found the thing like that. I thought it was gonna be like a funny story, especially because I saw that it said memes in the categories. So it had a very light start, I think, especially considering he knows, you know, about this stuff, these games, whatever. But when it started kicking in, I think it started getting interesting. Like I said, it's not as scary, and actually I really like that it doesn't go for the cliches like, oh, this cartridge is cursed and stuff and whatever. No, the game kind of already gives you, like, the story gives you an explanation from the beginning. This is most likely 95% a hack ROM. And now you're thinking, what? A hack ROM on a Game Boy cartridge? How is that possible? Guys, it's literally totally possible. And and at least you get to hear a story from me. So, hear this. Many years ago, I was still living in Palermo. I was with my friend. This day we went to a game shop to hang out. We always went there. We never bought anything because we didn't have that much money. But we liked looking at the games. We liked going like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool game. We liked looking at the retro games they had. And this friend of mine is Dario. I don't know if I mentioned his name in the Bottle of Shit story, but it was him. We hang out a lot. But yeah, basically, we went out to this shop, and it's not a GameStop. It's more like a local shop. Like, it's not a chain, but it was a big shop, and they had in like exposed there in exposition. You could buy it for, I think it was €10. Pokemon Arcoiris version. Arcoiris, I don't know. Probably Arcoiris, I don't know. But it was this Pokemon cartridge, and if I remember right, it was all purple, and the picture it had was Dark Lugia from Pokemon Gales XD Gales of Darkness. It looked like a regular Lugia, like it was a regular Lugia artwork, I think, if I remember right, but it was all like painted over with Dark Lugia's color. This was probably done in Photoshop. Maybe it was the Lugia in the title screen, like, you know, when it swims, and I think it was something like that, but it was repainted. I don't remember, but it was Dark Lugia from Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. And we were like, what? Seriously? We gotta buy it? And we buy it, we start it, and it was all in Spanish, and it literally started kinda like Pokemon Red, the normal one. We never really played it, especially because it was in Spanish. We were expecting it to be in Italian. But then I remember I googled it, and it was literally an uncompleted hack ROM. So someone had gotten, you know, like a generic purple case for the thing, for the cartridge, a purple casing that you can assemble. I think it literally, you know, it's easy to assemble anyway. And they put, now I don't know exactly what they put in it to make it run on an actual Game Boy, because we did play it on an actual Game Boy. I don't know, or maybe, yeah, you know what, I don't remember if it was a Game Boy or it was a Game Boy Advance cartridge. But in any case, it looked like sort of an official game. I think it was Game Boy Color cartridge. And you could totally do that. Just get a purple one, generic. Maybe they put the game in a micro SD, like the ones you put on your phone. And the casing, had like all the various pins and sort of worked as an adapter, I'm assuming. But all I'm trying to say is the idea of finding a hack ROM in a cartridge like that is extremely unlikely. But it is possible. It did happen to me. I am not bullshitting you. And mind you, I found it in a game shop. I'm surprised they even took it. I'm surprised they even bought it. Because it's not an official game, obviously. And literally someone just sold a hack ROM. That's probably illegal. So I'm surprised they even took it. But it is possible. It is possible. And realistically, that cartridge I could have thrown in the bin. And then someone else would have found it, you know? So it is totally possible. And I like that. The whole thing, the whole plot about him... See, it's not even entirely clear what his motives were. Like, what his thoughts were, if I have to be honest. I don't understand exactly what happened. Why the Pokemon died. Because to me, I sort of just imagined that once he gave the Pokemon to his brother, the Pokemon died. Like his brother did something to the Pokemon. And I was half expecting him to take revenge on the brother. But instead, that repeating of the snap at the ending makes me think that the game just genuinely glitched out while transferring the Pokemon. And see, that's why usually in these games, but see, here's the thing, I don't know if Pokemon Blue and Red do it as well. But usually they make you save before, so that if anything happens, it's not gonna fuck up the game, it's not gonna glitch out, you're not gonna lose your Pokemon. I mean, you might lose your save if crashes while saving. But in any case, that's the reason why it makes you save before you exchange Pokemons. And I think maybe it makes you save again after. But like this sort of fail safe. Maybe this didn't have it because it was a hack ROM. Maybe it's some other thing glitched out and you know, messed up everything. I don't know that. I don't know. But I think it's still feasible. I think it's still believable that the game just glitched out like that. And I'm assuming that's how his Charizard died. It's just glitched out. So it seems like, you know, he mourned the Charizard for ages, for an entire year. He was mourning, and he gave up on everything. And it seemed like eventually he was just so racked with grief that he just went for the unthinkable. But see, with the whole thing about Strangled Red, I kinda don't understand why strangle exactly, you know? It doesn't make too much sense to me. For a good part of the story near the end, I just thought he was gonna go back to his home and, you know, just hang himself. You know, commit a sewer slide. I cannot say the word. Although I did say hang himself, so I guess I'm already fucked up. But it's okay, this isn't even monetized. I can't monetize anything. Because I'm a little noob. And yeah, I thought it was gonna go that direction. It didn't. Which is also nice, because, you know, subverted my expectations. But I still don't understand this strangle bit. It's one of the options. I thought the other possibility was that he was gonna strangle his brother. But that doesn't seem like what happened. Just... Or maybe it is what happened. Make Steven Orbe glitch Charizard, press start and continue. Maybe that is what happened. Check the bag, status dead. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense, because it got these options when clicking on the Pokemon. These are the options you get normally. status to check your Pokemon, switch to change the order of your Pokemon team, close to go back, and then strangle. It just looked like it strangled the dead Pokemon. What's the point? Charizard already died. It has dead as the status, and even worse, now it's all glitched out because this guy used Missing No on it. I think Steven's intention was to use Missing No to try and revive the Pokemon, because Missing No will just glitch everything. I find it a bit weird that all the NPCs started avoiding him and sort of getting scared of him when he had Missing No with him. Though it also makes sense. Maybe it gave him some sort of weird glitchy aura, so they were scared and stuff. Oak was like, don't do it! Because Oak was like, this is gonna fuck up the game! Which, yes, of course it would. But even this concept of potentially using Missing No on the grave to revive the Pokemon, that was very cool to me. I like the idea a lot. Missing No is a glitch Pokemon, it fucks up the game. Anything could happen with Missing No. So I like that. But obviously it's unpredictable. You're not gonna get the result you want. Most likely you won't. And so what happened? It seems like he just used Missing No on the grave, but instead of bringing back the Pokemon to life, or even bringing it back as a zombie or anything, it just sort of allowed him to pick the Pokemon back up and put it back on the team. Just sort of carry the Pokemon with him again in the Pokeball. But obviously, it was still dead. 0 HP, 0 it was still dead. And obviously then everything started, glitching out. I don't understand. Again, my fingers shaking, I selected Strangle. And the menu closed, showing Steven in the room again. Maybe he did strangle his brother, I don't know. But it doesn't seem like his brother did it on purpose. It just seems like fourth wall break, the game glitched out. And so, yeah, here we have Steven just going goodbye. Maybe, how can you strangle? Can you even strangle yourself? Is that a thing? I'm assuming you can, but isn't that like extremely hard? Maybe he did strangle himself. I don't know. The snap kind of makes you think of, like the neck snapping. So I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I found this very cool. I liked it. There were some typos, especially around the end. But it was okay. It wasn't a huge amount of typos. I've seen worse. Lost Silver was a bit... No, I mean, they're on the similar level, actually. They were on a similar level. But I think, yeah, this one, I like the story a lot. Well, I don't really have much else to say. We're approaching the 1 hour mark to the podcast, which I haven't done in ages. This took so much time. But that's a lot of content at least. But before I end the episode, I just wanted to say, I think I mentioned it the last episode that I was gonna get my new computer, and I did. Now we got this new computer. I already forgot all the pieces I got. The processor is a Ryzen 7800X, whatever. I don't know, I forgot. Maybe that's the 7700, maybe. Yeah. And the 7800 is the AMD Radeon graphics card, whatever. GT. TX? XT? I don't fucking remember, guys. I know. It's only been a few days and I already forgot. But it's not that important. It's a cool computer, it's got all new pieces and stuff. It's mid to maybe high range. But I didn't spend I spent a good amount on it. I spent like 1,200. But I didn't spend more than that. That's what I mean. So, still somewhat accessible, I guess. The point is, it's nothing too cool, I think, which is why, I don't know, I wouldn't bother putting up the specifics of it. But I also got a second monitor now, which I'm using as sort of an assistant monitor. And yeah, I got the new computer. And I got it much earlier than I thought. Which means I'm literally, like, now literally able to record this podcast episode a bit before the week of releasing it starts. And that's gonna give me some extra time to work on other projects, which maybe I should finalize before telling you what it is. But in any case, yeah, all is good now. The story was good, I liked it a lot. Got to give you some cool lore, to explain cool stuff. Gave you cool lore about me finding that cartridge. I wonder where it is now. I think we gave it to another friend and he still has it maybe? I don't know. I never even played it. I regret spending money on it, especially because it wasn't some cool, cursed, evil game. Oh my god. It was literally just a hack ROM. But I had no idea you could put hack ROMs on cartridges like that. Well, now you guys know that you can. Same way I discovered it back then. And I got a new computer as well. But I just told you that. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. It was very long, so you better enjoy it. As usual, if you liked it, subscribe, notification bell, smash that. I think you're still supposed to smash it. Keep following me, but most importantly, share it with friends, share it with enemies, share it with anyone. And I'll see you in the next episode.